Imagine standing at the edge of an ancient, forgotten temple, its walls etched with symbols that whisper secrets meant only for the awakened. For centuries, these truths have been guarded, hidden away in sacred texts, whispered in hushed tones by mystics, and buried beneath layers of illusion. But what if I told you that the greatest secret of all is not locked away in some distant vault, but already written into the very fabric of your being? This is not just another spiritual theory, it is the unspoken reality that has been deliberately obscured. The knowledge that redefines who you are, where you come from, and why you are here. The truth about your true nature is not something you need to seek outside yourself. It is the silent pulse within your breath, the unseen force behind your thoughts, the infinite presence that has been with you since before time began. Think of the world as a grand stage, where most people play their roles without ever questioning the script. From the moment we are born, we are handed identities, names, religions, nationalities, beliefs, as if these labels could contain the vastness of who we truly are. But beneath these layers of conditioning lies something far more profound, the realization that you are not just a body, not just a mind, but a spark of the eternal, a fragment of the divine playing out a human experience. Why has this knowledge been hidden? Because those who control the world understand one fundamental law. A sleeping population is easier to govern, while an awakened one is unstoppable. Ancient civilizations, from the Vedic sages of India to the mystery schools of Egypt, knew this truth, and they encoded it in myths, symbols, and sacred geometry. But over time, the deeper meaning was lost, replaced by superficial rituals and dogmas that keep humanity searching outside for what can only be found within. Yet, the signs are everywhere, if you know how to look. The synchronicities, the déjà vu, the moments of inexplicable knowing, these are not coincidences, but breadcrumbs left by the universe, guiding you back to yourself. The question is, are you ready to see beyond the illusion? This journey is not about acquiring new knowledge, but remembering what your soul has always known. It is about peeling away the layers of false identity and stepping into the realization that you are, and always have been, far more powerful than you were led to believe. The first and most fundamental truth that has been hidden from humanity is the illusion of separation. From childhood, we are taught to see ourselves as isolated individuals, separate from each other, separate from nature, separate from the divine. But this is the grand deception. The sages of ancient India called this Maya, the cosmic play of appearances that makes the one appear as many. Think of the ocean and its waves. A wave may rise and fall, believing itself to be a distinct entity, yet it is never separate from the ocean. In the same way, you may experience yourself as an individual, but your essence is the same infinite consciousness that breathes life into all existence. The Upanishads declare, Tattvamasi, thou art that. You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean in a drop. But if this is true, why don't we feel it? Why does life often feel like a struggle, a competition, a lonely journey? Because we have forgotten. The systems of the world, education, religion, even science in its limited form, reinforce the idea of separation. They condition us to believe in scarcity, in fear, in the need to fight for survival. Yet the deeper truth is that abundance, peace, and unity are not things to be acquired. They are our natural state, obscured only by layers of false conditioning. Another core theme is the power of perception. Reality is not fixed, it is shaped by belief. The world you see is a mirror of your inner state. This is why two people can experience the same event in completely different ways. One sees a crisis, another sees an opportunity. The ancient rishis understood this when they spoke of yatha drishti, tatha srishti. As is your vision, so is your creation. Your outer world is a projection of your consciousness. And then there is the concept of time, another illusion. We live as though life is a linear journey from birth to death, but in truth, all moments exist simultaneously. The past and future are not behind or ahead of you. They are dimensions of the eternal now. This is why meditation, deep presence, and moments of pure awareness can feel so liberating. They pull back the curtain on time's illusion and let you touch the timeless. Finally, there is the truth of energy. Everything in existence vibrates. Your thoughts, emotions, even matter itself. The tantric and yogic traditions have long taught that the physical world is just condensed energy, and that by mastering your inner energy, prana, you can alter your outer reality. This is not magic. It is science that has been suppressed because it places power back into your hands. These are not mere philosophical ideas. They are living truths waiting to be realized. The question is, are you ready to see through the illusion? There is a reason why the deepest truths were never written plainly in books, but instead encoded in symbols, myths, and parables. The mind resists direct revelation. It must unravel the mystery itself to truly understand. That is why the rishis spoke in metaphors, why Buddha taught with stories, and why Jesus said, "Those with ears, let them hear." Consider the great churning of the ocean, Samudra Manthan, from Hindu scriptures. On the surface, it is a fantastical tale of gods and demons churning the cosmic ocean to obtain the nectar of immortality. But the real meaning? It is an allegory for the inner alchemy of consciousness. The ocean represents the mind, the churning is the process of deep meditation or self-inquiry, and the nectar, Amrita, is the realization of your immortal, divine nature. The demons, our ego, fears, and illusions, must be confronted before the nectar can emerge. Or, take the story of the Buddha under the Bodhi tree. Before his enlightenment, he was tempted by Mara, the demon of illusion, who attacked him with visions of fear, desire, and doubt. This was not just a physical battle, it was the final struggle of the ego before surrendering to the infinite. The moment the Buddha touched the earth and said, "The earth is my witness," he was declaring that truth is not found in escape from the world, but in complete presence within it. Even in modern times, we see these patterns. The story of the Matrix is not just science fiction. It is a retelling of the ancient Gnostic and Vedic understanding that the world we perceive is a projected illusion, Maya, and that awakening means seeing through the code. Neo's choice between the red pill and the blue pill mirrors the choice every seeker faces: to remain in comfortable ignorance or to awaken, no matter how unsettling the truth may be. Then there is the symbol of the serpent, feared in some cultures, revered in others. In the West, it is the tempter in the Garden of Eden. But in the East, Kundalini, the coiled serpent at the base of the spine, represents the dormant spiritual energy that, when awakened, leads to enlightenment. The same symbol, two interpretations, one keeping humanity in fear, the other guiding it toward liberation. These stories are not mere legends, they are maps, left behind by those who walked the path before us, showing us how to navigate the illusions of this world and remember who we truly are. The question is, will you read them as fairy tales, or as the encrypted wisdom they truly are? Knowing the truth is one thing, but how do you live it? How does this ancient wisdom translate into your daily existence, where bills must be paid, relationships nurtured, and survival secured? The answer lies not in renouncing the world, but in seeing it differently, recognizing that every moment, no matter how ordinary, is an opportunity to remember your true nature. Start with the breath. In India, the rishis called it prana, the vital life force that connects body, mind, and spirit. Most people breathe unconsciously, shallowly, reinforcing the illusion of separation. But when you breathe with awareness, deeply and rhythmically, you begin to sense the energy that animates you. This is why yogis practice pranayama, because breath is the bridge between the physical and the subtle, the first step in realizing you are more than just flesh and bone. Then there is the practice of witnessing. Throughout your day, pause and observe your thoughts without judgment. You will soon notice something profound. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts arise and pass like clouds in the sky, but the awareness that observes them remains untouched. This simple realization, that you are the space in which experiences appear, not the experiences themselves, begins to dissolve the illusion of being a limited self. Another powerful tool is questioning beliefs. Every belief you hold, about money, relationships, success, even reality itself, shapes your experience. But where did these beliefs come from? Are they truly yours, or were they implanted by society, family, or religion? The moment you start questioning, you reclaim the power to redefine your world. As the Sufi poet Rumi said, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences, are another doorway. The more you recognize them, the more they appear, proving that life is not random but deeply intelligent. Start keeping a journal of these moments. You will begin to see patterns, hints that the universe is guiding you, not as some external force, but as your own higher self communicating through the fabric of reality. Finally, remember that awakening is not a one-time event, but a continuous unfolding. There will be days when the illusion feels heavy again, when fear or doubt creeps in. That is not failure, it is part of the process. Even the Buddha, after his enlightenment, still had to walk, eat, and interact with the world. The difference was that he did so knowing his true nature. And so can you. The greatest secret is not hidden in some distant temple or encrypted manuscript. It lives in the silent spaces between your thoughts, in the stillness before sleep, in the sudden moments of awe when the world seems to shimmer with hidden meaning. You have spent lifetimes searching, through religions, philosophies, and sciences, only to discover that what you sought was never lost. It was merely forgotten, buried beneath layers of conditioned thinking, waiting for you to remember. This is not a call to abandon the world, but to see it with new eyes. When you realize that the divine is not somewhere out there but pulsing within your very breath, the entire cosmos rearranges itself around this truth. The same job, the same relationships, the same struggles, all remain, but now infused with a sacredness that transforms everything. The Upanishads whisper, "You are what your deep, driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny." Your outer life is but a reflection of your innermost knowing. There will be resistance. The mind, comfortable in its illusions, will protest. Society, built upon separation, will try to pull you back. Even well-meaning loved ones may question your changing perspective. This is the final test, the moment when you must choose between the familiar prison of old beliefs and the terrifying freedom of truth. As the ancient Tamil sage Thiruvalluvar wrote, "The soul is immortal, but it takes courage to live as if this were true." So where do you begin? Start small. Sit in silence for 5 minutes each morning and feel the presence beneath your thoughts. Question one assumption you've always held about reality. Notice how often you say, "I am," followed by a limitation, "I am tired, I am unworthy," and replace it with the remembrance, "I am beyond all definitions." The path is not about adding anything to yourself, but subtracting all that you are not. The time for seeking is over. The truth about your nature was never meant to be found in the future, after years of study or pilgrimage. It can only be realized now, in this breath, in this moment of perfect clarity where all questions dissolve into knowing. You are not a human being having a spiritual experience. You are the infinite expressing itself as human. And the world, in all its beauty and suffering, is nothing less than the divine playing hide and seek with itself. They hid this knowledge because it makes kings of beggars and mystics of ordinary men. Now that you know, what will you do? The next step is not in these words, but in the silent space they point to, the vastness within you that has been waiting patiently for your return.